myself to sleep and thinking better days are a far off dream. Get up and I move my feet 'cause I hear music playing on these streets. Oh yeah. Ain't nobody gonna cry today. Ain't nobody gonna die today. I kiss my cares all away. It's gonna be a good, good day. It's gonna be a good, good day. Good, good.
Good morning. How are you guys doing? It is great to see you.
Yeah.
You know, I ran into a problem this morning, Shana. And the problem I ran into was yesterday Mike was interfering with today Mike. Yeah, and I have to also be concerned with future Mike. This is a problem that I didn't realize that I had talking in the third person until Matthew Palmer brought it up, that he would always used to say, this is a problem for future Matthew to deal with.
Yeah.
And he would always worry about like the moment that you're currently in. And then future Matthew had to worry about the problems in the future. So he didn't worry about that. But last night, we were maybe out a little bit longer than I kind of thought we were initially going to be. And we were out with Gene and Lewis, and we had a really nice time, and Captain Dave was there as well. And so we did all these things up at the Rockin' A Ranch last night and had a good time. And then you and I hung out for a while. And anyways, so we had a bunch going on, and I didn't kind of pick up everything last night. I have this thing that I like things picked up. So last night, past Mike gave me problems this morning. So I was running around last minute, kind of getting everything ready, so I was a touch behind.
This is 2 nights in a row this week that we've been out at midnight.
Been out at midnight? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's fun. That's fun. I'd rather do those types of things.
Yeah.
And you want to give an update for next week.
Yes.
So during the open, let's kind of talk about next week, please.
So next week, Mike will be out of town, so we're going to have a party every day here.
Is that till midnight?
Yeah.
Till midnight.
Till noon.
Bring your friends.
So you'll be meeting with me next week. So if by chance you can't attend your meeting, please let me know, because I'll be doing double duty, and it's nice to know in advance if you're not going to be attending your meeting. Otherwise, I'll expect all of y'all to be here at your assigned times.
And I know you're all probably like, whoa, what's Mike doing? Where's he going? And so we're going to Grand Canyon. It's a Captain Dave adventure. We are going rim to rim to rim. It's an adventure that we had wanted, that we applied for a long time ago. And we had to be vetted by the rangers. They're like, no, you can't do this. And I'm like, what do you mean? And they told us no. And they're like, this itinerary you can't do. And so we were declined, and we had to plead our case as to why we should be able to do it.
Actually.
Yeah. And what they do is anytime that you have something beyond the ordinary, they kind of tell you no. Mm-hmm. And so our itinerary we submitted for was extremely aggressive. And he said it's not advised in each of those different items. And we had to make our case. We're like, no, we've done this, we've done this, we've done this, and here's our experiences. And he's like, oh, yeah, you'll be totally fine. And so that was at least nice and refreshing. But I think we're doing 44 miles in 3 days. So we're starting at the one side. I don't know which side of the Grand Canyon, but we're starting at the top with our packs, and we're hiking down, staying at the bottom, then hiking up, then hiking back down, then hiking back across, and then up and out. Thus, it's rim to rim to rim. Mm-hmm. And that will be in just, I think, 3 days.
This is the first trip like this that I haven't really gone on. Mm-hmm. And I started to kind of regret it before until I saw the weather, and then now I don't regret it because it's going to rain and be nasty.
And as an addition, Captain Dave the other day purchased, overnighted on Amazon Prime, he ordered us some crampons. And I didn't even know what crampons were, kind of like before this, but it's an addition that goes onto your boot for when you're in icy conditions. So apparently, as we're going to be hiking out of the Grand Canyon at certain times, there are certain areas of it that become ice on the trail, and you can't move past it unless you either wait and the temperature changes, or you have cleats on the bottom of your hiking shoes. So anyways, we'll be carrying those with us in addition to all the other stuff. I think we'll have like 45-ish pounds each of gear.
Wow.
anyways, so that's
like
what
me
we'll be doing.
Anyway.
All right, so that was really good. So that covered each of those different things. Did you have anything else you wanted to cover?
Just
here?
meetings. That's it.
Just meetings?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and hit your button. So, not your father's TNT is this topic. And so what that means is like we're changing a little bit. We're evolving. Hopefully improving.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really sure. And what we're kind of trying to do is I was looking through different words that I thought would kind of like help us out. And we're changing this up just a little bit. So what we're kind of trying to go to is a real estate talk show format. What do you think about that?
We need a couch and
A couch, yeah, and more guests.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's fine. We can work on that. Well, I think on the screen behind us, we could put a couch. We can make it look like there's a couch back there, or make it look like a studio, or like whatever you want. That's the whole idea of the green screen. So if you have some changes, if you have suggestions, send them to me at mike@acquistorealestate.com. Why would I say that? I don't know. It's super weird, and people are always like, "That's why do you do that?"
when you say not your father's TNT, the
Yes.
only thing I can think of, I don't know if anybody knows Paula Deen or likes Paula Deen recipes, but she has this recipe called Not Your Mama's Banana Pudding, and I make that. That's my banana pudding recipe. So that's all.
She's
Every time
copying.
you say that, I'm thinking, no, you copied me.
No, Paula Dean's
Actually, you
copying your
copied
banana
Paula
pudding.
Deen. Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Believe it or not, I don't watch a lot of Paula Deen, but I do know who she is, and I do know her current. Is she the one that had the challenge? No,
Yes.
Yeah, she had a challenge. Okay,
It's okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know if she's worked past it or however that's worked, but we still like
so.
her banana pudding.
Yeah.
And so what we also are kind of doing here on TNT is we will be having more guests on via Zoom, and we'll be doing a bunch of different items here. But it'll be adjusted time-wise. So we are going to still be starting at 8:45 each morning. We're going to try to move everybody as much as we can to YouTube. So on YouTube, if you chat in there, we'll be able to see all the information here. We'll be able to respond back to you. It's a lot easier kind of for us. We'll see the feed directly, so you can chat in. So on YouTube, it helps us out quite a bit. If you guys hit the subscribe button, that's going to help us. Then you'll be notified every single time that we go live and we start these events. So we'll be broadcasting it out to a larger group. This content also is going to start to really help us with SEO. So we're going to be releasing this. We have the transcript. We're doing a bunch of work behind the scenes that's like super nerdy, but it's actually going to help drive a lot more traffic to our website. So creating more followers for this, the channel, and doing each of those things really ends up helping us out. And so it kind of is important. So go ahead and hit the follow button, and that will help us out on YouTube. YouTube is a Google product. Google is where a lot of searches are done, and like it all kind of like rolls together. So the more we lean in, the more we kind of get back. All right. So that's kind of the platform in which we're moving. No, not actually that way. I don't know if that's what I was talking about. So anyways, we'll be doing each of those different items, and most specifically time-wise, we'll still be starting at 8:45, but we'll be going over. We're trying to take each different topic and have it segmented into a specific time frame. And then during that, as we kind of go through it, we'll have a definitive start and end with the button and the bell and all those different items. And at the end, then that will be put in a separate blog post with all the information. Again, I really don't want to get in the weeds about the tech, but like I kind of do. So it
Yes,
is
you
what
do.
it is. I know I totally do, right? Let's go ahead and do you have anything else you want to add about this not being?
No, that's it.
No? All right. So anyways, we're evolving.
The evolution. Okay.
Yes. Do your thing. Ideas. Thanks.
Nerd alert.
Well, okay, fine. Then I'll start with this open. People are always asking me, Mike, how big is it? And it's just like they always want it measured. And they're just like totally concerned about how big and measurements and all these things. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I'm going to show you exactly right now how to go ahead and measure it. So let's go ahead and share my screen. And we'll show you this. and we'll chat in the link to you. So let me control the mouse here for just a second. Hey, I didn't intend on that. And then
Yes, he
called
did.
me
Yes, he did. He's been waiting. He couldn't even sleep last
No.
night. Not wait to say that.
No, I slept totally fine. Control C and go ahead. I don't even know how we do this, but chat that link in for us if we can, Sir O. And we'll get you this link out to you guys. And then also what I'm going to do is show you how you can go ahead and measure different items on a map and show exactly
Properties,
what's going on
guys.
a
We're talking
property.
about properties here.
We are speaking about a property, and what we'll do is let you know that I'm on here, and this is a product in which you can take and zoom in. So now I'm going to take my mouse.
This? So this is...
I gave them the link,
Okay.
and we're going to actually include this within our website, within the new website at acquistorealestate.com/maps.
Yeah.
It's not up yet, but it is getting included. Right now, I'm currently using the one that I found from McKinney, and this is a planning and resource map that they put out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll in, and you can see this map here, and I'll scroll in on our property. I've found that people really like it when we why does this not look like I'm in the right spot here? So that's Independence. Okay, here's Custer. That's Craig Ranch. Where am I?
This way.
This way.
We'll just pick one. It's fine.
All right. Well, I don't want to look at somebody else's property. I've heard that I'm not supposed to do that type of stuff. So here's Custer, and
So our neighborhood's
here's
here.
Ridgewood. No,
Yeah.
it's actually here. All right. So we're zooming in on Ridgewood. Why? People always tell me what to do, right? It's amazing the amount of time. I probably do. And let's zoom in here, and we can have all these different overlays
I think you put an address
on the map. Oh my word! I'm trying to drive right now. Can you just be the passenger on this? Let's go ahead and let me look at the topographical information and show the right map. So you can see we have a bunch of different maps that we can kind of choose. And I'm going to go ahead and choose the hybrid model. And I'm going to zoom in on one of the best items here. What is this, Shauna?
Pearl.
That is Pearl, absolutely. All right, so I'm not going to even go over why my vehicle name is Pearl. But in the upper right-hand corner, there's a measurement tool, okay? And with said measurement tool, you can go ahead and take this, and you can figure out how big something is in acres, in square feet, square yards, square anythings, right? And you can also go ahead and measure it in miles, kilometers, feet, whatever this is. Meters, yeah.
Cecile.
I know, she wants to know different things. Mm-hmm. So from this perspective, you can change it now to how big is it, and I'm measuring things in feet. And I can take and I can zoom in, and I can start here at the top of my vehicle, and I can click down to the end of it and drag down here and stop. And that would show me that the vehicle, when I did that, was, if I stopped it where it was, I continued to move it, but it shows me that the vehicle is about that size, right? I'm still moving my mouse around. It's kind of giving me some stuff, and I can measure it back, and I could do different items, and I could clear it out.
Play around with it.
You have to, yes. So I can go ahead and clear, but I could go ahead and a use of this that you might actually use, rather than figuring out how big your vehicle is you might want to measure how big the property is on the front of the property. Mm-hmm. So if I went ahead and again and clicked on this result in feet, I could click the frontage line of the property from here, and I could go across to whatever this is.
Tool.
This is helpful?
Yeah.
Okay. So we would go across to this side, and we would measure to here. Now this is a rough approximation, so this is 71 feet across the front, right? Mm-hmm. So this tells me how big it is. Now, people often talk about these things. You'll go into a new home builder and you'll be like, oh, this is our 70s product and this is our 110 product. They don't have 110 products that's big. But what they're talking about is frontage feet of the property, mm-hmm. right? So it goes across from left to right across the property, and that's how many feet you have on the mm-hmm. on the street,
yep.
right? And so that's your frontage. And they'll say, these are our 80s products. And that's how big it is. And that's kind of the expense part. They also, developers, super side note, when they're selling the properties, sell it by a cost per foot for the road frontage, right, when they're putting this in and saying, we can't get this price or whatever it is. So they kind of have a price that they're looking for on these different products. The larger the frontage, typically the bigger home they can fit on it, the more square footage.
Yep.
Right? So that kind of is what it is. And then if you wanted to see here, you can see exactly how long the property is from here. Now, I do have a couple other things going on. I do have multiple measurements going on simultaneously, right? So that shows me the total lineage feet of the exterior of our property. And so anyways, I'm thinking you guys are getting the idea, but maybe you're not. So I'll show you more. If you wanted to know how many this is in acres, you would again put these points in and you would draw them around and move all the way around. So if somebody asked you how big this place is in acres, then you would be able to say here that there's the spot, and this is in fact 0.24. So this is a 1/4 acre lot. So when you're kind of thinking through these things, that kind of is what it is. People might ask you other questions like, what's the setback? And then you could simply go on here and you could measure and you could see how far between homes there is, right? And there's like all different types of applications you could do with this.
Sometimes people want to know if you can fit a pool in there. So if you like just look at from the fence, I mean, there's so many things you can do here.
You think this is a good topic?
Yes. Yeah.
And you're always wondering, how big is that? And now you can finally figure that out for yourself.
Great.
It is kind of very cool. Now with this, you can also do some other things. I'm going to go ahead and get clear, and that was just a square that we measured. And it's really interesting that you can go ahead and measure. In this case, I'll change it to square feet. So possibly you go ahead and you want to find out like how big the home is in square foot. And you can get a rough approximation, but you can go ahead and add in different dimensions. So I'm going to clear that out, and you can add different dimensions. And I was supposed to stay on our home here. Yeah. And oh man, I need to clear this out.
You've got square feet US, I would do the others. Yeah.
But I want to go to area, square feet US. And I cleared it, and let's see if I can start here at this point, and then I would come down to this point, and you can draw unique shapes, which is what I kind of wanted to show you.
There too, so
yeah, that would totally kill this kind of concept. What I'm trying to show is how interesting it is that when you have a unique shape, that you can still actually measure said unique shape to come up with what the total square footage is. And if I did this correctly, that would show the square footage of this place, of the downstairs. Yeah. It includes a garage, and like there's some other things. I was just trying to show off some different things. Yeah. But most importantly, I was trying to show, Shana, how you can do different unique shapes. It's not like squares, right?
Like our mapping in Netris is a little tricky sometimes when you're trying to draw a specific radius, but this is easier.
Okay.
I like it.
I would agree.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the topic. Do you consider that closed?
Closed.
Closed? What do you do next?
We have another topic?
Yeah, hit the bell.
Got more things to talk about.
Next topic. Data feed. There's a lot to talk about here. A ton to talk about.
Probably can't get to it all today, but I do want to talk about, to start, I want to kind of update you guys on Zillow. Y'all, have you guys ever heard of Zillow?
I think they have.
So, as we know, a lot of the consumers and our clients find things through Zillow. Okay. And they have a pretty sophisticated site, I would say.
It is user-friendly.
It is user-friendly. However, the information that they've been receiving and getting, some of it's guess, right? Because they didn't have the ability to receive certain data, sold information, certain things. Now, Zillow, they've always had this, but they are now going to become a broker, just like us, and that it's going to change. So I think it's important for you to know when you have clients that are searching through Zillow, it's going to now have different information on there. It's going to have their listing. So they're going to have the same, data feed as we do and other people have on their sites. So it is going to change. I think it's just be aware of that, and be
Do
able
they
to
get
educate
more
your
information
clients.
or less information now? Or different information?
Different information. So they have to go from being more of I don't know how you would say it, to more of a broker. So they, our contract, the contract that Netris had with Zillow and CoreLogic to be able to give certain information is going to change. So, they will have the ability to have the same data as we have, but there's rules and guidelines that they can't display the sold information and certain things. So it is going to change.
Okay. And so the data feed, there's a lot to kind of discuss around this. And we've had a lot of great fortune recently with some of the things we've done. Sometimes you just happen into something, and sometimes it's like intentional. And this one here in general, we maybe happened upon it for different reasons, but it like worked out in our favor. It's like a bank error in our favor with some things that we could get as far as data goes. So let's go ahead and show the screen here, and I'll show you some of the things that we were talking about here. So with Netris, they have a couple of different types of feeds that you can get. And so if you look over here on the left-hand part of the page, it says accessing Netris data. They have brokers, vendors, and agents. And I was like, that's interesting. What's this vendor feed all about? So we started going through the vendor feed and getting more information about it. And because you can get certain feeds, and the data comes from all different places. So we found this vendor feed, which I found to be incredibly interesting. And the vendor feed has all of the true information. It has basically everything from Netris. It's like really, really awesome. And that includes like all the fields. We were just looking through it from the vendor perspective and like what comes into it. So we were logged in as Deluso Marketing, and that is a vendor, the marketing firm, and they're able to have the information that comes across from the vendor perspective. And a client signs up as Acquisto Real Estate of that. And this vendor data now that you get is able to be displayed and controlled in a really nice way. So Deluso is the vendor, and Acquisto Real Estate is the client of the vendor. And you get this new, unique, awesome feed that has a lot of information. Well, I always hesitate to say all the information.
We were comparing today.
It's got like a lot. It should pretty much be Netris, right, and on the site. So what we'll do is control with login that the access that we should allow for and have just about most of the information would be behind your agent login. And then the client
to our new website.
To the new website will have the same exact access through Netris right on the website. So you have all this different stuff. But so it's a little confusing. So you don't want like really a client to be using your Netris search, number one, because they can't, but like number two, because there's almost too much data. And it's confusing. There's too many fields, too many things to search by. So if you look, like Zillow has like an amazing feed, right? And they're like considered the industry best, and Realtor.com's is really good as well. And
they have mapping.
They just have different things, right? So it's how it's displayed. But essentially what they do is they take in, they give less fields and more GUI, graphical user interface, for all my tech friends out there. What that does is that brings all the stuff together and it makes it easier. So for the clients that are searching on there with their login, they'll have a more simplified user experience. And then they'll have to turn to their agent and be like, hey, I'd like to have a little bit more information. Do you have better tools than I do? And you'd be like, yes, we do. So we can take in that same feed where the agent, where the client logs in at acquistorealestate.com, and then we can expand upon that search and show them more things.
They can create their search there and keep it all
we won't have to
in-house.
So
good stuff.
This is speaking of problems that past Mike used to have, was all of these different things with data silos and clients logging in different places, and like people being like, oh, there's way better search options on this page, and I'd have to go over here to do this, and like Netris has to do this, and I'd have to create this search, and like, oh no. So hopefully future Mike solves the problem that past Mike was having.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really Mike or any of those things. It was more about lucking into things and being kind of just in the right place and happening upon those. So anyways, super excited about what that brings for us in all the different fields that we will be able to search.
Yep.
And there's a right way to do it. And then there's API integrations and like taking the feed and not showing it within an iframe site. So there's like all these super tech nerdy things.
Yeah.
But when you type in an address of a property now,
We just
it'll
want it to
actually show
work,
up.
right?
Well, no, not.
I do. I just like things to work, and so.
You just want to type and like things happen. And I want that to happen for you as well. And I'm trying to explain because there's some people out there that really care, right? I see people on the edge of their seat and they're like, Mike, tell me more about the super nerdy tech stuff.
I mean, it is really cool and I love it. I just.
So anyways, we'll start showing up in the feeds when you type in an address. So if you type in like 15631 Ridgewood Drive, Frisco, Texas, 75035.
For sale. Or is it for sale?
Maybe it's going to be for sale soon. I don't know. Is it coming soon? Is it in coming soon status? No, not yet. Is it an incoming? No, not that either. Anyways, so when you type in the address, that would show up at acquistorealestate.com/15631 Ridgewood Drive. So like in the searches, when you typed in address, you know how you see some of them will start to show up there because we have like the real true data. And thank you, Netris, and thank you, APIs, and thank you, Nas. Big shout out to Nas, the tech man.
Yep.
Anyways, let's hit that button and let's move on to the close.
Wrap up.
Hey, Omkar, let's move to the close. I think we also call it, hey, there we go. We call it summary too. The wrap up. You wanted to change the name on this, right?
I like that's a wrap.
That's a wrap is what you want on it next time?
Yeah.
All right, fine, we'll do that. Omkar, she said it, not me. All right, so anyways, in the wrap up, now what are some of the things that we want to hit on? We now know how to measure things. We now know that we're going to be out of town next week.
I'm not.
I
will be here. He will be out of town. I will be here.
Yes, and what's coming up next?
Show me your listings.
Show me your listings?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. You have that already?
I've got it all ready to go.
And so she's going to be logging in right now to show me your listings on her computer. And so everyone can jump over there right now.
Yeah.
And you guys will be all good. And, you know, the weather. It's just like, now it's raining.
Everybody.
Stay home.
Yeah.
And what should they do instead? Log in to show me your listings?
Log in to show me your listings for sure.
All right. Yes. That sounds great. Until next time, see you guys later.
Bye.
Have a great day. Bye.
It's a great, great day. It's a good day. Get up. Can't you see the sun shining? I woke up and I rolled out of bed. Got dressed and I left at 10. Checked my name.